Would you be happy reading only one page of a book again and again? Well, of course not. But that's how habitual some of us are. How do you break this pattern? Why would you break it? My guest, Stefan Graf, has some ideas. Stefan, welcome to Bump in the Road. If you would, tell us your story.
Sure. I guess it's an interesting story. I'm German, I don't go back too far. I think my education is fairly basic. Even though I've studied abroad, I studied in the UK, worked in Germany, and then after my business degree and I'm working in Germany, I moved to Asia for almost 5 years. I worked in Singapore, and yeah, it was very interesting. I think it was a good life. It comes with ups and downs, especially during COVID. It was a little not so great, I would say, because of obviously all the measurements that were taken. But after a while, or let's say after those 4 to 5 years there, I had a inner calling to change my life. So obviously, I worked in finance. I had a good job as a project manager in my financial institution. But after a while, I just, sometimes, when you have that, we all have that inner compass, and my inner compass just said, it's time for a change. It's also when that whole AI revolution took place, or at least the start of it, I guess in early 2023. And so, yeah, I took that chance to relocate, to move away. I was unhappy with my job anyway, so just to take that leap of faith and start my own company, focus on myself, really, to teach myself a whole kind of new I guess job, and educate myself on AI. And I started an AI agency now, which is going good, with all sorts of AI applications from automations, chatbots, voice bots, but also working with larger teams now with machine learning and so on. I don't want to go into too much details, but yeah, it's been an interesting story. Relocated to Spain now, Canary Islands, which is also beautiful, and isolated myself for quite some time just to learn and explore myself, I would say. With did a whole lot of inner work. I meditate every day. I do yoga every day. I'm a big believer in like listening inside, because I think we all are connected to that inner wisdom and inner compass. Um, but it takes courage to listen. And I think what I have learned is that when you truly listen, you get guided and you get the help that you need. Meaning that it could be, uh, meeting the right people in the right moment, or the right chances come up in the right moment. So it's hard to explain, but there's a magic to life to it that I can, only encourage people to, if they are in a difficult situations, to take ownership of your life. It's very short and it's beautiful. That's all I can say. It's a larger story to my story, but
Well, it takes courage.
however,
I mean, you had the corner office, big bug job and everything else, everything that's supposed to make the so-called perfect, desirable Western life. And it
yeah,
was unfulfilling. And I think a lot of people find themselves in that situation, but it takes massive courage to leave that
absolutely.
behind.
Yes, absolutely. No, you're absolutely right. I mean, I used to have what I think most people really desire. It was, I call it even the rock star life, which is like really, in a nutshell, sex, drugs, rock and roll, like the whole thing. And it was good while it lasted, but after a while, it's just you just know there's more to life than just that, right? So I understand each and every one that's like chasing that, but once you hit that, you find yourself in a spot where you question everything and yeah, it's hard to really, understand when you're not there, but when you're there, it becomes very clear. And I can just, yeah, encourage each and every one to ask inside and ask yourself whether, what do you want to make out of life, right? What is your desire, not from a physical desire, but from a, um, mental desire, right? Like there's more to life than all that pleasure, I call it.
Well, when you made that jump, which is just such a massive jump, do you think did you do it in terms of moving away from what you had, or were you moving towards something else, or were you somewhere in between?
Oh, that's a beautiful question. First of all, I was moving away for sure, because obviously that life, I wanted to start a new life, and a new life for me obviously needed a clear cut with the past, but also a new beginning at a new place. So it's probably both, but it also meant like, leaving these friends behind that mindset behind also, and just yeah, relocate to a place where you don't know anyone, where you can just literally focus on yourself. And it was a beautiful journey. It still is a beautiful journey, even though it's been more than 2 years now, and it's still a very beautiful journey. I did not regret it 1 minute. Because it's just, when you bet on yourself, it's the best bet that you can always make. And so yeah, I mean, just go for it. Sometimes you need to cut ties to get something back and build something better. And the better is something that you can define for yourself, right? It's your life. I always say, like, and in a way it's true. Like, you get born alone and you die alone, and in between you meet people that stay with you. Some stay longer, some stay not so long, right? So it's all about you and how you see your life and how you see your world, right?
How did you get into meditation?
Um, so my mother, she meditates every day, but as a kid, you're not really interested in what your parents do. So I think it really started for me. I think it was like probably the last couple of months before I left Singapore. I also read a book, which is the Silver Mind Control Method. I
Yeah.
don't know if you've
Hmm.
heard of that. It's beautiful. And I think this is also a little bit how my whole transformation has started with that book, because, it gives you a complete different viewpoint on how we think, on how powerful the mind is, on manifestation. For many, it's still like some magical woo-woo stuff, but in that book, it's explained also from a more technical viewpoint. And I think in the first couple of chapters, there's one that is about meditation, and it gives you like a really wonderful and easy way how to start it and what to do, and that's sort of how I got into it. And obviously, I started reading more books, not just self-help, but also different ones, and yeah, most, if not all, they say, like, you must take the time to look inside. And meditation is just a different word to like find stillness and listen and look inside, and just, ignore the rest, ignore that outer noise, which is usually your thoughts or other things that distract you from what's really important.
I've been meditating almost 20 years now, daily, sometimes twice a day, and
Perfect.
it is game changing. And I
Yeah.
think the reason, I'll say for me, the reason it's game changing, one of the reasons at least, is that for me, I find profound peace in meditation. That
Yeah.
rewires your brain to some degree, and you carry that peace with you wherever you go all day long. And you can tap into that place of peace that you find in meditation. It becomes part of you. And that
Yeah.
alone is just game
Absolutely.
changing.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love it. You said it absolutely right. For me, it's the same thing, right? It's literally that inner peace that we all have inside. And if you also sort of recognize that we are all connected to something higher, which is true. I mean, even from a metaphysical level,
Hmm.
I think it's not again, it's not woo-woo, it's not religion, it's just physics, right? Then and if you just sort of believe it, because a whole lot of things in life is about belief, and I still think belief is not necessarily religion. It's literally like it can be your self belief, belief in a higher power, which is still not religious, right? Because it's all energy. We are all energy. It's just pure physics, right? We're all waves. We're all energy. But yeah, it's that coming back to the meditation, it's really that inner peace, but also that where you can literally you draw your life in your visualization, for instance, in a meditation, and you can live it up front, um, which is also very beautiful if you connect that. On the one hand, peace, but on the other hand, you can literally live imagined life during meditation
Hmm.
when you connect your emotions towards it and to it. And I think this is also very beautiful and also very powerful to change your life if you want to change your life.
Actually, guided meditations can be incredibly effective. And you mentioned about connecting your emotions, and I think that's the most important key because it goes back to energy.
Totally.
And your emotions are energy. And it's that energetic connection that changes things.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, we are all connections. Our brain, our heart sends out electrical signals and waves. I mean, they're measurable, right? I mean, where do we start, right? Who are we? What are we, right? I mean, at the end of the day, if you just always dig deeper, right, to a atomic level, subatomic level, then after then there's quantum theory, right, and then there's string theory, and string theory at the end of the day only says that you and me and all around us is just basically things that are like swinging, vibrating on a frequency, right? And that's literally what's surrounding you all the time, right? And yeah, and that's why emotionally charged, like also like what is forming your most remembered thoughts and the things you remember, it's usually the things that are highly emotionally charged, right? Because a whole lot
Mhm.
of energy was used to burn that deep down in your in your brain and consciousness, right? And yeah, and that's why it's so important. You can obviously we as humans usually use that sort of to remember something negative, but we can surely charge ourselves in a emotionally positive way, especially looking in the future, and building up your future and charge that emotionally in a positive way to really, yeah, um,
No, actually, that's really
leap
important.
forward.
And it goes back to
Yeah,
meditation because when you can start to witness your thoughts, you can now start to make conscious choices. Before,
yeah,
you're just running your program. And when you start
yeah,
making conscious choices, it starts getting really interesting because now you have a chance to even start looking at your beliefs and start peeling back what doesn't work for you. And I know
Yeah.
you're doing a lot of consulting and mentoring with people in terms of helping them reach their fullest potential. What are some of the common beliefs you find that people stumble on a lot?
Ooh, there's just so many. I mean, like most literally identify with their thoughts, right? You are not your thoughts, right? Your thoughts, you're the observer of your thoughts, right? So you can literally choose your thoughts, which for some, might be more difficult than for others, but it's literally what it is, right? And some they find, or most they find themselves imprisoned in their own mind, right? I mean, there's even studies like 80% of the worries that you have, they're never becoming true in any way, right? But you suffer before, like big times in your head, in your mind about something that is purely made up and in 80% if you believe in those statistics will never become true, right? And that's what I mean, like we lose that trust in life, right? We as humans we love to control things, right? And if you just let go of that, of being a control freak and just trusting and accepting, right? And just if you live your life in a way saying that life happens for me and not to me, and change that perspective, right? Because there's always something that takes you forward, right? Brings you forward. There's always something positive. Like no matter what it is, you as or we as humans, we cannot grasp what that maybe negative thing we're experiencing now, where it leads us in like 1, 2, 5, 10 years down the road, right? But obviously we don't see that, and that's like the trust that you must have, and that's like the limiting belief that we have about ourselves, about our power, about everything. We have a conscious choice, and we have our power is way bigger than yeah what we get taught. I mean, obviously we do not get this taught in any way, but we are way more powerful than we believe ourselves.
Yeah, no one teaches us how to navigate life. And I think one of the most valuable things I've certainly learned along the way, and I have to work to practice it, is to simply be present. Because it's
Mhm.
only in the present that you can create things or make anything happen. It doesn't happen in the past. It doesn't happen in your imaginary future, which will never come to be. It only happens now. And I
Yes.
think that when you can learn to really be present, you start to see the magic of creativity that exists in that moment.
Yeah, no, beautiful. I mean, there is only now, like ever, right? I mean, today, now should be your best time of your life because that's the only time you have. It's now, ever, right? So most people live their life looking in the back mirror, right? Because they always remember all the things from yesterday, but it's dead. The past is dead. That yesterday's me is dead, and I can only aim for my best future me and hope that it will, come to place. But I live life now, today, right? Have fun.
But that implies you have to change. And most people do not want to change. They've established a comfort zone of relationships, of money, of materialism, and they will fight you kicking and screaming before they will change one thing about their life. I mean, for some people, changing something they eat is overwhelming. I mean, I know I'm a food person. I'll try to, as long as it's not
Yeah.
moving, I'll try it. That's where I draw the line, you know?
It's a good one.
But it's astonishing how incredibly strong that tie to habit is.
Yes. I mean, but it's a little bit sad, right? I mean, it's like if you read a book, but you only read one page over and over again, right?
Yeah, actually, that's a good analogy for it.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
mean, there's a whole book, the book of life, right? And it's like get out of your comfort zone. That's where life really happens, right? And at the end of the day, the only thing that's really certain is that you will die. You know, if you believe it or not, right? You only have that one life, right? So I think really the purpose of life is to live life, to take risks, to say more I love you, to like make the most out of it, right? And you know, if that's like a repetitive, vicious cycle all day, every day, I don't know if you can really call that life, right? I mean, you owe yourself life because, you know, you're in charge of your own life. So I can only really, encourage each and everyone to take ownership and accountability.
well, change happens outside your comfort zone. And change, and we were talking before we started, recording, change is inevitable.
Yes. Yeah, totally.
I mean, I think one of the things we have to learn is to kind of roll with it, roll with change.
I mean, we are on this planet, right? On this blue planet, and we are cycling through it, through universe and through the sun. And I don't know what the speed is exactly, but we're
It's
never
fast.
at this, exactly, but we're never at the same spot again, always. We can never be back at that same spot in that, friction of a second, right? So that's what I mean. Like life, it's constant change because the world itself is constantly changing. The universe is always expanding, so it's also always changing, right? So it's a must. I mean, we as obviously our cells are constantly renewing ourselves, like, and we as our physical body are literally like changing and renewing ourselves, right? So I think it's our duty as humans to also change and welcome change, right? I mean, there's seasons in a year, right? I don't know, like the world also doesn't say like, oh, I like summer more than fall, so I just stay in summer, right? That's not how it works. Like you need to really embrace change. Like that's really where life happens.
How can somebody who really despises change, just likes, stability, the same thing day after day, how can they learn to embrace it?
Well, I mean, start small, right? I mean, you don't have to change your whole life today or tomorrow, right? But I think there is just we all have that inner fire, and even if it's just very, very small, right? You can make changes in a small step, right? Just pick something, whatever that is. I mean, some like sports, some would like to volunteer, some would like to change their career, right? I mean, you don't have to do that everything tomorrow, right? Start small and, like you don't have to quit your job. Like start like looking into it. Why not like do maybe an internship, even if you're, like I don't know, 30, 40, 50 plus, it doesn't matter. Age is just a number, right? I mean, again, you only have that one life and the past is over. You can only live it today. If you want to change and live more, then pick something that you enjoy doing and try to do it more often, right? And yeah, you can always change and do it in small steps, do it in planning. I mean, now, especially use AI as a coach. I think nowadays, you literally, we all have a personalized coach that knows everything, you know, online, right? That we can ask, right? And if you don't know how to use AI, you can ask AI how to use AI, right? I mean, you can just have a conversation, and literally, it's trained on the whole internet, right? It's trained on on medical data, on psychological data, on every self-help book that you want to read. It's all there, right? So if you don't know where to start, maybe have a conversation with an AI. ChatGPT is for free, Gemini is for free, Grok for free. It's all for free. There are no excuses, right? I think this is always a good a good place to start. And also in my newsletter that I write, usually I have a prompt in it that says, how to change your life to the better. Usually I write about a concept, and then I give a prompt where, you can just change it in a way so it fits your background, right? And then it's just like it's just there. It's like literally you have a mentor that's there for free and 24/7 available. Use it.
Does one have to be a little skeptical of AI and some of the answers that come back?
Of course. I think not just with AI. I think you should use your common sense
Yeah.
also when you, I don't know, talk to a person, right? I mean, like, do you believe everything that you read online? Probably also not. Do you believe everything that you read on Twitter? Probably not. Or on social media, or maybe you mistrust the news. It's this is your choice, right? So take it with a grain of salt, of course, but take what is beneficial to you, right? And at the end of the day, it's the same with therapy, right? I mean, what you do with it is it's your choice fully, right? So I think it's very good. It's very beneficial. I mean, the way AI is trained is usually also not to harm people. So I think use it what is useful, and the rest is always up to you, right?
Where are we going with AI, do you think? I mean, obviously there's talk of many jobs being eliminated, and many jobs can be eliminated, frankly. But where's the reciprocity in that? How is AI going to benefit humanity as a whole?
Well, there's many theories around
Yeah.
it, right? I mean, the main theory is yes, we will lose a whole lot of jobs. But at the end of the day, I think most jobs are disliked anyways. So what's wrong with, all the office jobs being replaced by AI if people find a, means to do what they really want, like for instance, you like books, you like talking to people, and I think there's or me, like I'm very interested in that AI topic, but also how to encourage people, if let's say if AI helps us that, for instance, energy becomes free because of, cold fusion, whatever it may be, right? And, it finds some new stuff and humanity can benefit from it, then what's wrong, like then maybe we as a species can really focus on, and developing a new kind of, togetherness, right? At the end of the day, I think it can be very beneficial and bring us more together as humans, but obviously there's also risks, right? It's not just the job loss scenario. It's also the risk of, like, AI going rogue, and, how can you control something that is way more smarter than anything and everything we've ever seen, right? It's kind of like if if you have an iPhone and like you tell your cat, hey, like use this iPhone, right? Your cat is like,
I've
I've
had
known.
some smart cats, but they probably don't get the iPhone.
Yeah, or like a mouse or whatever, right? And that's kind of like if an AI that's really, in a couple of years, and I think maybe in 5 years, we're probably already there. That AI like is so smart that it's just like it's very hard for us to understand. And then like, maybe it just decides that, we just use resources in a bad manner, and it would be better if humanity is not there anymore. We don't know. I mean, those are risks that they are definitely not zero. I'm a big believer in positivity and see the positive side of the world, but there are clearly risks that come with it. Um, But yeah, I think even this week there was a UN discussion about how to come up with AI regulation, and I hope we as a UN, as a coming all countries together, we can yeah, find a framework where everyone can benefit, and I think then there's prosperity ahead, and hopefully no
I
more
have a
hunger,
book.
and hopefully no more whatever, no more suffering, right?
I have a book you have to read. Okay. It was written like in 1946, I think, somewhere around, late 40s, 50-ish, by Arthur C. Clarke. And it's
Uh-huh.
called The City and the Stars. And it's
Okay.
a book about two societies. One society kind of goes the AI route. They live in this domed, perfectly controlled environment. Nobody has to work. Everybody's free to participate in games and art and whatever they would like. But as a society, they've been inbred to the point where they're afraid to go outside their dome. Okay, and there's some
Oh.
history behind that. But the central computer, and they don't live or die. They come out of the computer, they live their lives, they go back to the computer with whatever stored memories they want.
Uh-huh.
But the people who created this society knew that it would need a little change now and then. So they created an individual called a unique. And a unique isn't bound by any of the belief systems that everybody else in the society is bound by. So they may be curious. They're not afraid of going outside the dome, etc. Okay. So that's one society. The other society is very agrarian, very emotionally and intellectually advanced. They don't really need speech. They telepathically communicate, and they live a natural life of 200 or 300 years. And it's more agrarian based. It's a story of a unique who escapes this one society, connects with the other, and changes the future of mankind.
Oh, that
It's a
sounds very interesting.
and it was written late 40s or 50s. It might have been 56, but at any rate, it was written quite a long time ago. And it's so prescient and so interesting. I think you'd really enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, I think, if you just look at the current developments and like now with like Elon Musk's brain implants, right? I think like we are going down that road where we um maybe, I mean, I don't know, but maybe in like 50 years, like, we all become cyborgs and we merge with machines. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, I mean, I mean, it's definitely a very interesting future ahead. And I think, I mean, many people say it's the first time in human history where we don't know how the world will look in 50 years or something. And I think
Oh,
that's kind of remarkable.
though I would argue nobody ever knows what the world will look like in 50 years. I mean, look at somebody born in 1900, how much the world changed. I mean, goodness, went to the moon.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
mean, who would ever have foreseen those changes? Look at the advent of technology that really is a result of the much hated baby boomer generation who created all this. Um, who could have ever foreseen this? In 1960, who could have foreseen an iPhone? So
Yeah, yeah,
I,
yeah.
I, I think that we're always in for a bit of a surprise no matter what we think we know. And I think, again, it goes back to that's part of the fun of it all.
That
If you
is
had,
true.
yeah, if you had some wisdom for people trying to look for a more authentic life for themselves, what would you say to them?
I think I think really like you mentioned it before that to start meditation, I think is
Yeah.
really something that where everyone can benefit. I think like really if you want to change something to the better for yourself, I think it's meditation, right? Because it's just like that yeah, that fraction of peace that yeah, where you can benefit a lot throughout the day and just like, shut off for 10, 20, 30, whatever minutes. I think this is like really the first step to something beautiful. And I think like yeah, that's what I would do. That would be my first step.
Any other steps?
Um, take risks. I think the greatest risk in life is not to take any risks. Like really, like it's yeah, I mean, like life rewards risk, and again, like you will die, so why not start living, right? Why not take risks? Like, why not live a little more? Like, yeah, why not love a little more, right? Like, why not choose today to make the life of each and every one that you encounter today a little bit better and to smile at people, love a little more. I don't know, like buy a stranger a cup of coffee and you will sort of feel and notice that, you have, a way bigger influence of your emotional well-being than you think, especially when you do something positive and spread love and spread positivity, right? I think you literally can make a big impact in that small world that we live in, like in our small environment. And I think it's the little things that you can take ownership, like, like change starts within you and also how you bring it forward to other people. And yeah, I mean, there's nothing in a finite life. There's nothing you can lose. And do you remember your three generations grandfathers before, like your great great grandfather? Like no one remembers no one, like who was the richest person in 1760? Who cares? Like, and that's how you should live your life. Like, no one really, like, okay, it sounds harsh, but like from a bigger picture, of course, there's your family and, they love you. But at the end of the day, right, in three generations, you're all forgotten. We are all forgotten. So why not try to live the best life possible and do something that you really want to do? And like really like yeah, risk to fail. I mean, there is no failure. Ask each and every successful person, right? Without failure, there's no learning. Without learning, there's no success, right? So you need that failure. And I can really only encourage each and every one to take risks, to fall down and get up. Because like if you constantly get up, then no one can beat you, right? It's literally that courage. And if you never quit, you can only succeed no matter what you want. And that can be in love, that can be in um, wealth, health, anything, right? And yeah, take don't give the power away. Take accountability. And I think if you do that, then you will live a beautiful life, no matter what. Because at the end of the day, if you live authentically, then you have won in life. And it no like like if you cringe to someone else, who cares, right? As long as you're authentic and are happy and don't hurt anyone and make the world a little bit better, then I think then you have lived a good life. And I think those are the things that I tell people, and those are yeah, the things and the motto I live from the bottom of my heart.